Now this is how we're going to do the sleeves. Now I'm going to show you the motifs for the small, and then I'll show you the motifs for the large, but the technique is the same thing. So I'm only going to do it in the large because I'm not making two of these tops. I'm actually only just making the large. So I do not know what the small is going to look like, and I don't really know the full size of it. So if you are doing the small, you know, I haven't made it, so I'd love to see yours when you're done with it, you know. But anyway, what you're going to do now, we're looking at the sleeves. So this is for the large, so I've just put it over here. So just pretend this is the small. Here's your middle, here's your neck area over here. Now what's going to happen is here, this is these two motifs for your neck. Follow these two. Okay, so these are the two by your shoulders. What you're going to do is you're going to be putting one motif in this, in between there, one in between there, and one in between here. Okay, so that's giving you your 3. Sorry, I've got it where you can't see too well. So you're following, there's your neck, and these are the outside 2. These are the 2 you're following, and you're going to put your first one in the middle of these 2. So that's where that one's going to be. That one will be there, and then this one is going to go there. So that's the first part of your sleeve. Then what you're going to do, and I'm just going to scoot it down, you're going to, your next row, we're following the thing where we're going in between each other. This one will go in between those 2, this one will go in between those 2. But now you can see we have a space over here. I'm going to bring it way down. Now we have 2 little spaces on the ends here. So what we're going to be doing is we're not making half motifs. We're going to share this motif. We are going to be joining these 2 end ones to each other and make a circle. So therefore this one is going to be joined on the other side. So this half is going to fill in there, and this top half is going to fill in over here. And that's the strategy that you're using for your sleeve, as long as you want it. I don't know how long you want yours. If you just want a short, then 2 of these would probably be fine. But if you want it longer, you will have to do more. And then your next row would just be the same as this. You would be doing your 4, your 3, 1, 2, and then your other 3 here, exactly the same as this. And then your next row will be 2 in the middle with 2 halves over there. So that is for the small. You know, you'll have to watch as I join them for the large, but just remember that you have less motifs. It is slightly different for the large because, well, not really. Just follow along with the large and you'll come right. But if you just remember yours, you've got the 3 here, 2 there, and we're sharing a half. And then as far as you want to go, 3, 2, and you're sharing the halves. So that's how you do it for the small. Okay, now to do our large. If you watch the small, it's the same situation except we're using different motifs. What you got to do is you got to find your, this is your neck, so you find the neck here, and you're going to be working from these 2. Okay, so these are the 2 that you're going to be watching, and you're going to be going in between those 2. So you're going to have, so let me just bring it down. These are the 2. Okay, so these are the 2 that you're following. So you're going to be going in between. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for the large, you're using 4 motifs going across. Now, as I said, with the small, we're going to be joining these motifs so they form a circle. What you have to remember is that you're doing 4 of these on that one. And as long as, this is the technique that you're going to be using. You're going to do 4 here, and then you're going to, for this one, you're going to come in between, like we've been doing all the time. That one goes in between, that goes in between, and that goes in between. And then you'll see you've got a space on either side here. So what we do is we take a half for one, and we're going to be using half of it here and half on the other side. So you, and I'll show you how we do that. But the main thing you need to know is that you're using 4 motifs and then 3 with a half here and a half here. And this half is coming onto the other side, and this half stays here. But I'll show you how to do it. But I just want you to know that that's where you start off, by these 2, because you're going to be folding your top over here. So that's where you're going to be folding it over, but you don't have to worry about that yet. As I say, just follow these 2. and come in between here. And that's where you're going to put your motif. So you'll have one there, one there, one there, and one there. And I'll do it with you, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. So here's your neck over here, and these are the two that I said that we were going by. So we're going to be putting our motifs in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're doing, that's for the large. If you're doing the small, these are the same two, but you're just going in 1, 2, and 3. So for the small, you would be starting off in this part over here, and it's exactly the same as what I'm doing here. So you're just starting in a different place. So for us with the large, that was, I'm just going to get those are the two there. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we're going to be starting off over here for both of them. So what you have to do now, this is the motif. You find your motif, and you're going to be using these first two. So you're going to be using these two and these two for your first motif. And when I get to the third or the fourth motif, whichever one side you're doing, we're going to join it onto this motif here. But I'm just going to show you, we're going to join this, and then do your 6 and go around. So just do that, and then I'll meet you back at the end of this motif. Okay, so we've got that one in. We just did 2 on this side and 2 there. Then this is going to be the same as we did with the others. I'm not going to do it with you. You're going to use these 4, these 2, and these 2. Okay, so this will either be your third or fourth one that you've done on your sleeve. Where if it's a small, it will be your third, but you're doing the same thing as what I'm telling you here. And on the large, it's our fourth one. Do your sleeve flat and not do it attaching it as you go. You're rather going to sew it. Then whether you have 4 of these here or 3, the whole process is exactly the same. So I've got my 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them for my sleeve this way. Now the next row, you're going to be having you're going to put this one in the middle. So you're going to have 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. That's 1, 2, 3. Then your fourth one, so you're going in, you got, or if you only have 3 motifs, you'd only use these 2, but you still have to attach 4 because the 1 is going to be used half at the top and half at the bottom. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but to do the first one, and it doesn't really matter if you put the first one at the top here, or if you put it, or if you do your middle and then at the bottom you make it longer. Either way, I think I'm just going to start with this one over here. So I'm going to go into these 2. So you got to find these 2 and always count. You should have another 2 there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top. I just keep counting. I'd rather overcount than undercount and know that I've got mine right. And then you do the same thing as you've been doing before, but you're just starting over here. And so what you're going to do, I'll get mine done. You're going to just join this one in here, and then you're going to join your next one in there. That would be 2. So if you only had 3, you'd do 2, and then you're going to add the next one here, and I'll show you how to add that one. But if you've got 4, then you're going to add your other one here and this one here. So what I'm adding at the bottom here is going to be the same for both of them. So I'm just going to get mine in, and then I'll show you how to add the last one and then how we sew it together. Okay, so I'm going to put my last one on my sleeve. I've got 4 on this row. There's 4 on this row, and then 3 on this one so far. Or if you did it the other way, 3 on this one and 2 on this one, whichever size you're doing. But for the last one, you've got to put it on so that it's going to be overlapping this one. So you're going to use these 4 and these 2, and that's going to be it. Just these 4 and those 2, and you're going to come all the way around. And then I'm going to show you how to join it, how we're going to sew it. When you sew yours, you're going to want to finish your sleeve, because if you sew it, you're going to have to work in the tube if you add on more. So if you wanted to keep yours flat, make sure your sleeve is as long as you want it to be. So as I say, with this last one over here that I'm putting on, it's number 4, and it's going to be used half on this side and half on the other side. It's going to, the other half is going to be flipping over. So you're only using these 2 and these 4. So I'm going to put mine on, and then I'll show you how to sew. Okay, so this is what your sleeve actually looks like. You have it, you've got your 4 there, or you would have your 3 and your 2. If you're doing the small, yours would look like that, 3 with a 2, and then this wouldn't be, that one would be flapping over and going to be joining here. But with the large, you've got your 4 here, and then your 4 are lying over here. Now, if you're making your sleeve longer, that's fine. You've got your 4 there, your 4 here. What I would do is you're going to have to put your next 4 where this one is. So you'd have to use your top 2, just these 2, and then go all the way around. And then when you put your next one in, you would use, so for example, you would have your, this is just an uncompleted one. You would use, make sure you got 1, 2, 3, 4 there. You would use these 2, and because you would have had those 2 for the next motif there and these 4 there. So you just use these 2, and then you're going to go all the way around with 6. Then your next motif would come in here and use these 4, these 2, and these 2. So I'm sure you figured that out already by what you've been doing. So your next one would have to come up here if you're making your sleeve longer, and then the next one would come in the middle like that. So it's the exact same formation as this, but you're just continuing, so the next one would be equal to that one. But if you're not, then it's not an issue. So now with this one over here, we have to flip this one over so that half is used there. So it's half over there, and then the other half is going to be used at the top here. So all that you do is take your top and just bring your, fold it over. So this now has to be joined on to this one. I don't mix it up and join it on the wrong one, because you would have to now sew. In fact, you've got to sew all of this. You've got to sew your side all the way up and under there. So you can go all the way, you can start at the bottom and come all the way around and sew it here. And yeah, you're just going to sew this on. Let's see if I can do it. You would sew these 4. So let's see, 1. You're really just joining them like you did with all the others. And once you've done all of these motifs, you get pretty familiar with it. Then that doesn't get done. And then these 4 would be sewn together. So 1, 2, 3, these 4. So those 4 and these 4 would get sewn together. And that's all you do. And you do it exactly the same way as I showed you on the other part. Just sew these little pieces together there. And you can leave these ones in between because we didn't crochet them. And then these, so that's all that you do there. So alright, so what I want to do on this part of our top is show you how to sew the sides up, because this is the sleeve that I did and I've only got 2 rows done. I'm going to actually make mine longer. If you only want yours with 2 rows going this way in either size, that's totally up to you, even if you only want 1. And in fact, if you didn't even want to put sleeves on, you don't even have to do that. You could just sew it up to this portion here and leave it open there. It's up to you. But I'm doing I'd like to wear this in winter, so I'm going to go longer with my sleeve. But I want to show you how to sew this. So this is under the sleeve. There's my sleeve, and these are the 2. This is the front and the back that I'm joining together. Now, I'm just actually going to use these threads because then I don't have to try and sew them in. So as much as I can, I'm going to use my threads. If I can't, I'm going to have to get another piece of yarn and join it. But basically what you're going to do is exactly the same thing as when you crocheted. These 4 have to get sewn together, and it was really just, you just sewed them together with these 4 have to get sewn together. Alright, so these, you've only, depending on how many rows you did going up towards your armhole, as I say, you can add on if you find that the bottom of your top is shorter than what you wanted. Remember, it's easy enough to add on. You just come in between your motifs. But I'm just going to show you with, I've just got 3 here. I haven't seen if I want to make mine longer or not, but it doesn't matter because I can just sew those. So anyway, these are the 4. You're going to do the exact same thing. Now, you're not going to sew all of this together in the sense of I'm going to sew every single stitch together here because you didn't crochet it that way. So you don't want this to be all tightly sewn and the rest is all holey. So you're going to do much the same thing. So these are the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 that we're going to sew together. So what I'm going to do is you can thread your yarn or use your leftover, whichever. You just want to get to the middle of this chain. So I'm just going to come through, and now I'm basically in the middle of my chain. Let's see if I can bring you in a little bit more. So I'm in the middle of this chain, and I have to attach it to, and make sure you're attaching it to the right one. And remember, you're not messing with these, so it's there, 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 and there. Okay, so this is the one here. So I'm just going to come into the middle of that one and sew that together, and I'm going to come back this side. I just like to have it pretty tight. Now you can sew a little more than just one stitch if you want to. You know, I'll just come slightly next to it, but you ultimately want to keep the holes, I say the holes, but the openness. See, so now I've got to get back to the middle here, because I don't want to sew all of this together, because the rest of the top's not like that. So we're going to just come back here, and you don't want to keep cutting your yarn every time you stitch one stitch. That's why I'd rather just bring my yarn through like this and just go in anywhere. You know, you're really just carrying it along. Okay, and now I can sew into these two. There's no set rule here. You're really just joining them together, and make it as tight and as firm as you like. And that's all you do. Now if you want to, for a change, come up this side, on the other side you can. It doesn't matter which side you choose. Let's come up this side. Make this side a little firmer. It really doesn't matter. And this is what you're going to do until you get to under your arm. I do want to show you, under the arm is a little bit too big a gap. So what I'm going to do, and you can play with yours and see how much of a gap you want under your arm. So just keep doing that. As I say, these 4, then you're going to skip all of these. Now what you might want to do is end your yarn. So in other words, do one more. Let me do one more with you. This is the 4th one. So I've sewn 4 of them together. Okay, now instead of coming all the way through here, you can end off. Now I see I don't have another black. Okay, there's another black piece here. So yeah, I'll use this black piece to come and finish this off. So I'm going to just end this off, so I don't have to come all the way through here. Play with yours, you know, as you like. As I say, there isn't a right or wrong way. It's the whatever you like. So I'm just going to bring my yarn in here and I'll cut it off. I just like to make mine pretty secure. And I've actually got this on the right side of my work. This is the right side. It doesn't really matter. Just when you end your work, just make sure you come through and cut it off towards the back, not towards the front. You can do it either way, put it the right way or the wrong way. It's not making much of a difference. It's probably better to do it the other way. So I'll flip mine inside out and then work that way. But anyway, once that's done, skip over these and then get these 4 in. Let me scoot you back a little bit. Then you do the next 4, and then you do the next set of 4 as well, which is 1, 2. Okay, well this one's only actually got 2. So this top one of mine's only got 2. But now if you see, look here, this is under my arm, because there's the sleeve that's going there and there. Now this is a huge gap. I don't really know why it's so big. It's just the way these motifs are lying, and because it's under your sleeve, and I don't want a big gap like this under my arm. So what you do then, up to you. If you want to sew all of this together, you can, or I'm probably just going to join these two. So I'm just going to sew here, come to the middle and actually join these two, which we're not doing to the rest because they're not part of this. This is those middle ones, but I'm going to just join one there and one there. So that under my arm, I'm not going to have a huge gap, because it doesn't really matter under your arm if you sew it, you know. Or I might just sew one of them, I'll see, but I'm probably going to sew both of them because I'd prefer it to be closed under my sleeve. So that's all that you do. That's how you sew it together. So wherever you need to sew it, that's what you do. So just to give you a quick review of putting your your extra sleeve motifs. This is the sleeve over here, and I'm just wanting to add some more. It is done in the round. Now if you didn't do it in the round and you suddenly realize, oh my word, I do need more, this is what you do. Just remember your principles. You're adding 4 on here, or you're adding 2 from a motif on each side. So just remember, you're either going in 2s or you're going in 4s, and then you just follow. I mean, it's not, I can't show you every single way because sometimes it's a little bit different in the sense of where you start to join. I mean, I could have just joined the 2 on this one, and then gone around and joined the other 2 over here. It just depends on how you're doing it, but basically I joined 2 on this one and 2 on here for this first one, and then I just went all around and finished it. Now for the next one, I mean, you just turn it around and just use your same principle because you're coming in between. So this one we have to go in here, so we know that we'll have to add 4 here, and I know that I'll be adding these 2 and then those 2. So that's just what you do, you know. So it's these 4, those 2, those 2, and then you go on to the other side and you're going to be doing these 4 and you're going to be doing these 2. So just follow it. You know, for the time of the video, it will take far too long if I have to do everyone with you, but I'm just trying to give you a general picture of what it would look like. You know, you're doing these 4, those 2, those 2, and then when that one is in, you come onto this side. Your last one now is going to be joining onto a lot. I'll show you that last one. I'll just join these quickly and I'll show you how that last one. Okay, so here we have our 3 motifs that I've put on the sleeve, and I've got to put my 4th one in, which is going to fill this whole gap over here. Your sleeve is consisting of 2 like this, and then 1 on each, 1 here, and you're sharing 2 on here. Just the way the sleeve falls, but it'll fall like that automatically. Just keep in mind your basic principles of what you're doing. You're joining 4 and you're joining 2 from side motifs. So the one directly opposite, you're joining 4 and then 2 and 2. You're not going to join 4 on your side ones. It's always just 2. So as long as you keep that in mind, you're going to be fine. And always count, you know, as I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, which leaves me with 4 on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is correct. So I've got to go into this one here. So I'll do these 4. So once I've got those 4 on, here your 2 left over. I'm going to join these 4. I'm going to join these 2. You're going to join these 2 and then these 4 over. Just follow your 4, your 2, and your 4, and this one will slot in perfectly. Okay, so what I'm trying to get you to see is I've joined, this was my original length up to here, but I didn't want it that short. So now if you find that you're in that same predicament, all that you do is you add some more, and this is the extra row that I added on the bottom. This is where it went up to, and all I did was add this extra set on here, and I can add another row and another row if I want to make it even longer, but this length is good for me. But I just want to show you, just in case you're a little bit fretful about, oh my word, how do I add these ones on. Now what you need to do is just look at the row above. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these sides, okay, and you're going to add your motif on here. So just adding on 4. So you can take this one. What you can do is see the row above. I mean, if I look at this row, I can see that it was added onto here by 4, and it was added on to the one that's, what is this, diagonal to it, and then obviously this one, but this one's not here yet. So if I remove that and I just see this is added onto here, then you just do your plain ones, and then you got to add it onto the 2 from this one. So you would have 4 there, and then these 2 you would use, because these 2 are already used. Okay, so for example, now you're going to add number 2. So you put this one on, and this was just on these 4. Okay, so this one you're just going to put onto these 4. Now your next one, you're going to come in, and you can see it has to go onto look at your row before. Here I've just added it on now. This is the next one that I'm putting onto, and you can see this one's got to be added onto those 2 and onto these 4. Sorry, it wasn't onto there, and then it goes there. So just look at your row before and join it that way. I'll add this one. Then So you're going to join this one and this one. Do this one and this one. Okay, then you do the same thing on the other side. Do that one. So you do this one and this one, that one and that one, and leave this one so long. So do those side ones, and then when you come to this one is going to join onto all three of them. This one's going to join onto there, and onto there. So do that. I'm going to do mine, and if I think there might be an issue, I'll actually show you. So I'm going to put my two side ones on, and then I'll just show you that last one. And if you're making the smaller size, it's the same concept. Just put your two sides on, and then you'll come in with this one and do it that way. So I'm going to put my two on, and then I'll show you that last one, and then we should be done. So I thought I'd just show you this quickly. I've got this one on. This is actually my right hand side. I joined the 4 there and the 2 here. Now if you want to join yours by starting with this 4, because you're not sure where to start, that's great. You can do those 4, these 2 come around, but remember that you've got these 2 inside ones that you've got to do. You can't do the outside because then you're stuck with those. So I'm going to start with these. I'm going to do these 2, and then I'm going to go into these 4, and then into these 2, and come all the way around. So do that, and then I'll show you the next. Just one quick thing, if you're just wondering with this, okay, well, how do I know, why did I not join the 4 here? I'm only joining the 2 and then 4 here. Look at the rows above. This one, the 4 over there, so therefore these 4 will have to be joined, and you've only got your 2s on the side. See, so the next one, these 4 have to be joined because the 4 are joined over there. So just a quick little tip. Okay, just a tip, when you do your first set of add-ons, you can just put them on like I showed you, but when you doing your second one, remember that you've got to join it onto this one, onto the side one that was there. So you're joining it onto there, and then onto this one, and I'm joining it onto 4 of them. So don't forget to join your side there as well. Alright, so this is my very last one. Now it depends on where you started with your motif as to how yours finishes. This one is very easy. I'm just going to join it to these 2, these 4, and to these 2, and then I'm done. As I say, just remember to join your sides. Alright, so I'm actually doing a bit of a border around my neck. You don't have to do anything on yours. I mean, this top really is fine as it is. You don't have to do anything, but I'm just putting a bit of a border on mine. Very simple. All that I'm doing is in each one of these chain spaces I'm doing 4 double crochets. Now if you find that your neck part is a little bit tight, you might not want to do a border, or you want to make it, you might need a few more double crochets instead of 4. You'll have to play with that because I don't know the size of yours. And then in these ones that dip, in this one and this one, I just did a treble. I just did 2 trebles in each one, so 2 in this first space and then 2 trebles in the next one here, and then the rest is all the same. I'm just doing 4 double crochet in each one of these chain spaces, and I just wanted to do that to give it a bit of a different look. But as I say, you'll have to just play with yours and see how your neck fits you. If you find it's a little bit tight, then you probably wouldn't want to do this, or you're just going to have to put more double crochets in instead of 4. So do that, and I'll meet you back here. Alright, I thought I'd show you, I have done a little bit of a border for my sleeve. As you can see, this is the border that I did, and I managed to bring it in a little bit, and this is the one without a border, and it's pretty, excuse all my yarn, I haven't sewn it in yet, it's pretty flabby, which is fine if that's the look that you want. It doesn't matter, but this just looks a bit more finished. So I'm going to show you what I did. It's basically very similar to the top. You're just going to put your yarn on your hook and just start in one of these. We are skipping these. We're just doing 4 double crochets in each one of these loops, and then you're going to skip over that. So just go into this one, and you're going to do 1, 2, 3 just to start, and then four double crochets, so another 3, so you have 4 in each one of these spaces, and that's all that you're going to do. 3, 4. So now I've gone into each one of these with 4 double crochets, and now you come to this. Now when we did the neck, we did trebles in there, but we don't need to do that. We're going to just skip right over it because I want to bring my sleeve in. So we're going to skip right over that and just go into your next chain space and do 4, and it brings it in nicely, and your sweater's got those kind of holes in it, not a hole but these spaces, so that just works beautifully. It's basically the same size as this. So just do that all the way, and when you get to the end one over here, you're going to just do your 4 and then just come across and join with a slip stitch in this one over here. So do that, and yeah, that's all be done. Now I'm possibly going to do the same thing at the bottom of my sweater. I'm not sure. I'm thinking I am. I just like a bit of a finished look. So I'm going to do the same thing, either the way my neck was or the way I've done this, just depending on what I choose, which I prefer to do. But anyway, so you choose how you want to do your bottom, if you want to do it this way or like the neck. If you wanted to bring it in, you can do it this way, but if you wanted to keep it the size that it is, I would do it like you did the neck. And those are the 2 different versions, 2 different ways to do it. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And remember, you can like my Facebook page, you can join me on Pinterest, you can subscribe to me, yeah, and I would love to see what you make. If you post a picture on Facebook, that'll be awesome for me to see it. And yeah, so I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks for joining me. Bye.